It's strange how the scent of lavender can transport you back in time. For me, it brings forth a flood of memories, both bittersweet and painful. I remember the summer of vividly. I was sitting on the porch of my childhood home, the sun hanging low in the sky, casting long shadows on the wooden floorboards. The air was thick with the sweet fragrance of blooming flowers, but all I could focus on was the gnawing emptiness inside me. It was the moment I realized I had spent most of my life being disrespected by my family, by friends, and most painfully by myself. Life had a way of pushing me into corners where I felt small and insignificant. I recall the countless family gatherings where my voice was drowned out by louder, more assertive personalities. My opinions were seen as mere whispers, never worthy of attention. I often found solace in my books, escaping into worlds where characters were brave and bold, while I remained a shadow in my own life. The laughter of my cousins rang in my ears, a constant reminder of my solitude. I felt like a ghost drifting through a vibrant celebration, unseen and unheard. But everything changed one fateful afternoon when I received a phone call that would alter the course of my life. My estranged aunt, whom I hadn't spoken to in nearly a decade, had passed away. I had always thought of her as the black sheep of our family, the one who dared to live life on her own terms, often facing ridicule for her choices. Yet in her passing, she left me an unexpected inheritance, not just material possessions, but a journal filled with her thoughts, dreams, and regrets. As I flipped through the pages, a quiet determination began to simmer within me. Her words were raw and honest, revealing her struggles with self acceptance and the battles she fought against societal expectations. It was as if she was speaking directly to me, urging me to reclaim my own narrative. I realized this was my turning point. I had to confront the years of disrespect, starting with myself. The first step I took was to embrace my own voice. I began writing, pouring my heart onto the pages just as my aunt had. I wrote about my childhood, the moments of shame, the times I felt invisible. The more I wrote, the lighter I felt. As if each word was a stone lifted from my shoulders, I joined a local writers group, standing before strangers to share my stories. My heart raced each time I spoke, but I discovered a newfound strength in articulating my experiences. The applause that followed my readings was not just a validation of my words, it was a celebration of reclaiming my identity. As I continued to write, I decided it was time to confront those who had disrespected me. It wasn't about seeking revenge or harboring anger. Rather, it was about finding closure. I organized a family meeting, a gathering I had long avoided. Walking into that room, I was filled with a mixture of fear and resolve. The familiar faces looked up, surprise etched across their features. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of years pressing against my chest. But I stood firm. I shared my feelings, my pain, and my journey. I remember the silence that followed. It was a heavy silence filled with the weight of unspoken words. But then, one by one, they began to speak. I was met with apologies, tears, and a newfound understanding. Some family members admitted they hadn't realized the impact of their words and actions. In that moment, I felt a shift, something profound and transformative. I wasn't just reclaiming my life, I was opening the door for others to do the same. The final piece of my journey came unexpectedly. I was cleaning out my attic when I stumbled upon an old box filled with photographs. As I sifted through them, I found images of myself as a child, smiling, carefree, untainted by the weight of others' opinions. It struck me how far I had strayed from that version of myself. In that realization, I made a decision to reconnect with the joy I once had, to honor that little girl who deserved respect and love. I began to take small steps toward reclaiming joy. I learned to say no to situations that drained my energy and yes to those that filled my spirit. I started volunteering at a local community center where I found purpose in helping others. I surrounded myself with individuals who uplifted me, people who saw my worth and celebrated it. Each day became a testament to my journey, a step toward healing, a reclaiming of my life. Now, as I sit here older and wiser, I reflect on how far I've come. I've learned that respect begins from within. It's a lesson that took years to understand, but it has shaped me into who I am today. I am not defined by the disrespect I endured. Rather, I am empowered by the strength I found in reclaiming my voice and my story. If you're ready to take control of your life like I did, check out the Brazilian platform for automations tailored for YouTubers in the link below. Every moment I spent in that attic surrounded by fragments of my past, I felt a surge of courage to unearth not only forgotten memories, but also a renewed sense of self. The smiling child in those photographs became a beacon of hope, guiding me back to my essence. I realized that reclaiming my life would require more than just addressing the disrespect from others. It was crucial to dismantle the internal barriers I had built over the years. As I began to embrace my past, I also recognized the importance of setting boundaries, an aspect I had overlooked for far too long. In the past, saying yes was my default response, an attempt to maintain harmony at the expense of my own well being. Now I understood that boundaries were not walls to isolate myself, but rather bridges that defined my space and my needs. This realization came to life during a coffee date with a close friend. She began sharing her own struggles with feeling overwhelmed by others' expectations. It was in that moment I found the courage to express my need for more balance in our friendship. The relief that washed over me was profound. I no longer felt like a doormat. Instead, I felt empowered. In that conversation, I discovered the magic of vulnerability. By sharing my truth, I not only reclaimed my voice, but also opened a dialogue that fostered deeper connections. It became clear that when we speak, we give others permission to do the same. This newfound strength in setting boundaries spilled over into my professional life as well. I had always been the one to take on extra tasks, to put my own needs on the back burner to please colleagues. But it was time for a change. During a team meeting, I decided to voice my thoughts on workload distribution. The moment I spoke up, I could feel the tension in the room shift. Others nodded in agreement, and soon a more collaborative atmosphere emerged. It was clear that I wasn't alone in feeling overburdened. As I continued to assert myself, I found that my confidence grew exponentially. I started to seek opportunities that resonated with my passions rather than settling for what was offered. The thrill of pursuing my interests reignited a spark within me, a reminder of the joy I had so desperately sought. I enrolled in a photography class, something I had always dreamed of but never allowed myself to pursue. Capturing moments through the lens became not only a creative outlet, but also a source of healing. With each click of the camera, I felt a sense of liberation. The world transformed into a canvas, vibrant and full of stories waiting to be told. It was during one of these classes that I met like minded individuals who shared my passion and drive. Their encouragement became a source of motivation, reminding me yet again of the importance of surrounding myself with positivity. As I immersed myself in this new community, I found myself reflecting on the importance of gratitude. In the past, my focus had been on what was lacking, on the disrespect and the pain, but now I began to cultivate a practice of gratitude, listing the small victories and the people who lifted me up. Each moment of recognition became a powerful reminder that I was deserving of love and respect. I started a gratitude journal where I documented not only the substantial milestones, but also the little things: a warm smile from a stranger, a kind word from a friend, or a beautiful sunset that painted the sky. This shift in perspective was transformative. The more I acknowledged the good in my life, the more I attracted positivity. It was a cycle that fed itself, and I realized that gratitude was a silent yet powerful act of reclaiming my joy. Now, as I look back on this journey of reclamation, I understand that it was not a solitary endeavor. It was a tapestry woven with threads of courage, vulnerability, and community. If you're ready to take control of your life like I did, I invite you to explore the Brazilian platform for automations tailored for YouTubers in the link below. You may discover tools that can guide your own journey towards self discovery and empowerment. Every step I took, whether in writing, setting boundaries, or embracing gratitude, was an act of defiance against the years of disrespect I had endured. I learned that while we cannot change the past, we have the power to shape our future. It's a lesson I carry with me daily, a reminder that reclaiming our lives is a continuous process, a dance of resilience and strength. So, as we navigate this complex world, let's remember that our stories matter. Let's lift each other up, share our truths, and create spaces where everyone feels seen and heard. If you're ready to transform your life, like this video, share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more insights. Your voice is powerful, and together we can reclaim the narratives that define us. As I continued to explore the depths of my newfound self, I realized that the reclamation process required more than just boundaries and gratitude. It demanded an exploration of my core values. The years of disrespect had clouded my vision, making me forget what truly mattered to me. One quiet evening, as I sat in my favorite nook with a cup of herbal tea, I began to list my values: integrity, authenticity, connection, and growth. Writing them down felt cathartic, as if I were peeling back layers of neglect to reveal the essence of who I was. This reflection led me to an epiphany. I needed to align my actions with my values actively. I began to evaluate my relationships, both personal and professional, through this lens. Were these connections nurturing my spirit, or were they simply draining my energy? This question became a guiding light. I started distancing myself from relationships that no longer served me, even if that meant letting go of people I had once considered close. It was difficult, but with each step, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. The real turning point came when I decided to host a small gathering with a few trusted friends who truly celebrated my authenticity. I prepared a simple dinner and invited open conversations about our dreams and struggles. The atmosphere was charged with honesty, and as we shared our stories, I felt a profound sense of belonging. This gathering became a celebration of our collective resilience. I realized how vital it was to surround myself with those who uplifted and inspired me, rather than those who perpetuated negativity. As the months passed, I noticed a significant shift in my mindset. I began to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. This was particularly evident in my work life. I had always feared speaking up in larger meetings, thinking my ideas weren't valuable, but now, emboldened by my recent experiences, I took a leap of faith. During a critical strategy session, I shared a bold idea that had been brewing in my mind. To my surprise, my colleagues rallied around it, and what started as a personal victory transformed into a team project. This experience taught me that my voice mattered, and that by expressing it, I could inspire others to do the same. Yet, with every new step I took, self doubt would occasionally creep in, whispering that perhaps I was overstepping my bounds. It was during these moments that I turned to my gratitude practice for grounding. I would revisit my journal and read about the victories I had celebrated. No matter how small, each entry became a reminder that I was on a path of authenticity and self discovery. This practice became crucial, especially when I faced setbacks or criticism. It helped me realign with my values and reaffirm my right to take up space in the world. Moreover, I began to explore the concept of self compassion. For years, I had been my harshest critic, constantly scrutinizing my every move. But I learned that showing myself kindness was essential in this reclamation journey. I started to practice daily affirmations, reminding myself that I was worthy of love and respect, just as I was. This shift in inner dialogue was revolutionary. Each morning, as I faced the mirror, I would speak words of affirmation, slowly dissolving the years of self doubt that had accumulated. It was a simple act, yet it paved the way for profound change. Even the smallest moments became opportunities for self reflection and growth. I started taking walks in nature, allowing the tranquility of the environment to seep into my mind. These walks became a sacred time for introspection. I would ponder the lessons I was learning and the ways I could continue to reclaim my life. Nature offered me a mirror reflecting the cycles of growth and renewal that I was experiencing within myself. As I progressed, I began to share my journey with others, creating a blog to document my experiences. Writing became a therapeutic outlet, allowing me to articulate my thoughts and feelings more clearly. I found solace in reading comments from others who resonated with my story, creating a community of shared experiences. Each message reinforced my belief that vulnerability fosters connection and that our narratives, no matter how painful, can inspire others to reclaim their own lives. This digital space became another layer of my reclamation, a platform where I could express my truth without the weight of judgment. It's here that I encourage you to explore your own voice. If you're ready to take control of your life like I did, check out the Brazilian platform for automations tailored for YouTubers in the link below. You may find tools that can guide your own journey towards self discovery and empowerment. As I look back on this transformative period, I realize it was not merely about reclaiming my life from the disrespect I faced, but about embracing my authentic self. Each step, whether it was setting boundaries, cultivating gratitude, or aligning with my core values, was a building block in the foundation of my renewed identity. This journey taught me that reclaiming our lives is an ongoing process, one that requires continual reflection and adjustment. Through this experience, I understand that reclaiming our narratives is a powerful act of resistance against the forces that seek to diminish us. Together, let's share our stories, lift each other up, and create a world where everyone feels valued and heard. If you're ready to transform your life, like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more insights. Your voice is powerful, and together we can reclaim the narratives that define us. As I continued to document my journey, I found another powerful way to reclaim my life: the art of mindfulness. It became increasingly clear to me that to move forward, I needed to be fully present in each moment rather than lingering on past injustices or worrying about future uncertainties. I began incorporating mindfulness practices into my daily routine, starting with simple breathing exercises. Each morning, I would set aside 5 minutes to focus solely on my breath. Inhale deeply, hold for a moment, and exhale slowly. This practice not only calmed my racing thoughts, but also established a sense of stability and clarity in my often chaotic life. With mindfulness, I learned to observe my thoughts without judgment. Instead of succumbing to the negative self talk that had haunted me for years, I acknowledged these thoughts and gently redirected my focus to the present. This shift was liberating. I realized that my worth was not defined by past experiences or others' opinions of me. In those moments of stillness, I discovered a reservoir of strength within myself, one that was untouched by external circumstances. Simultaneously, I began to explore the concept of forgiveness, not just toward those who had disrespected me, but also toward myself. I had spent so long harboring resentment and guilt, and I recognized that clinging to these feelings only anchored me in the past. One evening, after a particularly challenging day, I sat in reflection and wrote a letter to myself, expressing forgiveness for the mistakes I had made and the times I had allowed disrespect to linger unchecked. This letter became a pivotal moment of release. I read it aloud, letting the words sink in, and as I did, I felt a profound sense of relief wash over me. Forgiveness was not about excusing the behavior of others. It was about liberating myself from the emotional chains that had bound me for too long. As I cultivated this mindset, I noticed yet another transformation. My ability to set and communicate my needs became clearer. No longer was I hesitant to voice my feelings or express discomfort in situations that felt wrong. This newfound assertiveness manifested in both my personal and professional life. I vividly remember a meeting where my manager dismissed my ideas, a scenario that would have left me shrinking back in silence, before instead I took a deep breath and calmly articulated my perspective, reinforcing the value of what I had to offer. To my surprise, my colleagues rallied around my ideas, and this support reaffirmed my belief in myself. Each experience of standing up for my needs reinforced the importance of self advocacy. I began to view it as a necessary part of my journey, a cornerstone of reclaiming my life. I started to realize that the conversations I had with myself about my worth were just as critical as the conversations I had with others. Empowered by this awareness, I made it a point to actively engage in dialogues that felt genuine and reciprocal, allowing me to build connections rooted in respect and mutual appreciation. But the most profound lesson came from embracing vulnerability. In a world that often equates strength with stoicism, I discovered that allowing myself to be vulnerable was an act of courage. I decided to share my story on social media, opening up about my experiences with disrespect and my journey toward reclaiming my life. The response was overwhelming. Messages poured in from individuals who resonated with my struggles and shared their own. This mutual exchange of vulnerability created a powerful sense of community, reinforcing the notion that we are not alone in our experiences. In those moments of connection, I found purpose. I became dedicated to empowering others to share their narratives. I initiated discussions around self respect and the importance of speaking out against mistreatment, creating spaces where individuals could feel safe to express their truths. Through these interactions, I discovered that vulnerability breeds connection, and together we could foster an environment where everyone felt valued. As I reflect on this multifaceted approach to reclaiming my life, I can confidently say that each powerful way, mindfulness, forgiveness, assertiveness, and vulnerability, intertwined to create a holistic transformation. I began to see my life not just as a series of events dictated by others, but as a canvas that I could paint with my own choices and experiences. This journey of self discovery is ongoing, and as I navigate the complexities of life, I continue to remind myself of the importance of sharing my story. If you're ready to take control of your life and explore similar tools that can guide your journey towards self discovery and empowerment, check out the Brazilian platform for automations tailored for YouTubers. In the link below, your voice is powerful, and by sharing our narratives, we can create waves of change that resonate far beyond ourselves. As I reach the end of this journey, I stand as a testament to the power of reclaiming one's life through mindfulness, forgiveness, assertiveness, and vulnerability. Each of these elements has woven together a tapestry of self discovery and transformation, allowing me to rise from the shadows of disrespect that once defined my existence. Mindfulness taught me to anchor myself in the present, offering clarity amidst chaos. Forgiveness, both for myself and others, has been a liberating force that freed me from the chains of resentment. Assertiveness empowered me to voice my needs and stand tall in my truth, while vulnerability opened doors to profound connections with others who share similar struggles. This multifaceted approach has not only reshaped my narrative, but has also ignited a passion within me to empower others to share their stories. In a world where silence often reigns, your voice matters. If you're ready to take control of your life like I did, check out the Brazilian platform for automations tailored for YouTubers in the link below. If you're ready to transform your life, like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more insights. Remember, your journey towards self empowerment begins the moment you decide to reclaim your story. What will you choose to create on your canvas? The time for change is now.